Right now at 5, authorities charge a woman with arson after a massive fire destroys an apartment building in southwest Missouri.
And we've got another pretty decent day out there. Not expecting any rain showers, but we do have thunderstorm chances on the way. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, voters in Jasper, Missouri will soon decide on a tax increase to staff the fire protection district.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Melissa Alexis.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday. It's March the 26th. We're getting close to April. You know, they say April showers bring May flowers.
That is true.
We'll have to see if we do get some of those April showers or not. Had a few sprinkles yesterday.
Yes. In Pittsburgh.
That we saw, at least
right.
On camera. You know, there may have been some others, but something I talked about yesterday. There's a half dozen or so computer models that we look at every day to figure out what's going to happen, and only one said there were going to be rain chances yesterday, so we kind of went, it's only one. All the others say no. That one was right.
Right.
So I'm going to go with that one for what we're expecting tomorrow morning, which we'll talk about that. No severe weather, don't worry about that, but we'll talk about that here in detail in just a moment. But first, we need to get your Wednesday underway. We will start with our customary live look in downtown Pittsburgh, and see, there it is. Looking pretty good this morning. We've got clear skies, and we're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through the day. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line, still looking back to the north, still looking good. And see, this is more cars out here than usual. And I noticed that on my way in here on the Missouri side of things, there were a lot more folks out this morning at 3 a.m. than I'm used to at 3 a.m. And it happens every so often. It's been a while, but it must be something very important going on early this morning. So here we go on to the future track into this afternoon. Again, we should have clear skies for good portions of it, but again, some clouds here and there will certainly be possible. Our temperature's a little warmer today than yesterday, but not significantly so. However, we're going to have a much milder overnight tonight, and that's also going to help with some of the shower and thunderstorm chances we have early tomorrow morning. All right, in Joplin right now, it's 48. Warmer in Pittsburgh, sitting at 50, and usually that's the other way around. Around the area, again, it's another mild start where most of us into the upper 40s. We have some low 50s. We also have some low 40s out there, so some cool spots, but all in all, not bad. Most of us above normal as we start the day. Getting on the bus, about 47, partly cloudy skies. Winds should be clear. A few clouds again by this afternoon. 72 when the bus brings them home. East winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and our highs today back into the low 70s, maybe some mid 70s out there as well. And that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. As I mentioned, about 24 hours from now, we could be seeing some thunderstorms. No severe weather, but we'll go over those details, and we'll talk about those weekend storm chances with you here in just a few more minutes. Melissa?
All right, thanks, Chris. Prosecutors bring a charge of arson against a woman in connection with a massive apartment fire near Table Rock Lake. Over the weekend, authorities arrested Angie Maywald, a resident at the apartment complex. She'll face a charge of first-degree felony arson and felony endangering the welfare of a child. Court documents allege Maywald set the fire that fully engulfed the apartment complex in Stone County, Missouri. Police officers say she took a child outside of the complex with her, but ran into the woods alone. According to the state fire marshal, Maywald admitted to setting the fire that displaced 32 people and 19 families. Maywald is being held without bond. A medical emergency puts a Joplin firefighter in the hospital. It happened yesterday during scheduled training exercises at the Joplin Public Safety Training Center. This is a file video footage of that center. Authorities are not yet releasing details, including the name of the firefighters, but they say fellow firefighters provided immediate assistance on the scene. At last report, the firefighter was in the hospital, listed in critical but stable condition. Look for updates on KOAMNewsNow.com. The Oklahoma Health Department confirms 7 of 9 reported cases of measles in the state. These cases were confirmed among unvaccinated individuals in northeastern Oklahoma. Health officials also say all cases are linked through exposures to household or extended family. And initial cases reported exposure to the measles outbreak in West Texas and in New Mexico. They say no cases have resulted from exposure to public settings at this time. And be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports. Download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Miami, Oklahoma has a new police chief. The city announced yesterday it's hired a 30-year career law enforcement professional, Stephen Sigmund, for the job. Sigmund is a native Oklahoman and most recently served in a number of positions with the St. Lucie County, Florida Sheriff's Office. Captain Todd Hicks had been the interim Miami police chief since the resignation of Thomas Hightower Anderson in November. The Jasper, Missouri Fire Protection District is asking voters to approve a tax increase on April 8th. It would be the first tax rate increase for the district since 2015. KOAM's Samantha Walker spoke with staff who say they're out of other options for funding.
Since 2020, the Jasper Fire Protection District has used a FEMA grant to help pay for staffing, but that grant ended in 2024 and they were unable to renew it.
We tried for an extension and there was no extension available and the grant went away, and the current tax dollars won't fund that without some kind of help or an increase.
The Jasper Fire Protection District is asking voters to approve a property tax increase that would only pay for staffing. If passed, that increase would raise the tax rate by 30 cents per $100 of assessed property valuation, bringing the total to about 59 cents per $100.
We really hated to ask for this and still don't really want to ask for it, but we really have no choice. We've reached a breaking point to where there's just no other choice that we can come up with.
Good says the tax increase wouldn't pay for more staffing. It would allow them to sustain their current number of daytime staff. He says without other funding options, the district will likely have no choice but to close their doors during the day.
Which means we'll start missing calls, as medical calls, car wrecks, fires, and what have you. There just won't be anyone here a lot of times to respond to it.
Jasper Fire serves roughly 126 square miles, and he says they're often the only ones able to get to scenes nearby quickly. If they don't have daytime staffing, he says it could take much longer for other departments to get to any emergency.
Most of our surrounding departments are in the same boat as we are. There's a lot of times we're on scene with a heart attack patient or some type of a medical emergency or a car crash for anywhere from 20 to sometimes 40 minutes to an hour before an ambulance arrives up in here. So without that, someone's going to have to sit there and wait for a prolonged time for help to arrive.
The district responds to both Barton and Jasper counties, so voters in both counties will see this question on their ballots. In Jasper, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Voters will cast their ballots for or against the tax increase on April 8th. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Colgan High School baseball travels to Joplin for its season opener. We'll have the details. Plus, Italy begins testing its bobsled track for next year's Winter Olympics. And we'll have a warm and partly cloudy day today. We have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
High school softball and baseball season is just getting underway here in the 4 states, and the Frontenac High School softball team is the defending 3A state champion. One of the players that helped lead the Raiders to a state title commits to play college softball yesterday afternoon. Frontenac High School senior Avery Johnson signs her letter of intent yesterday to continue her softball career at NEO. Johnson threw 2 separate shutouts as a pitcher for the Raiders in the state tournament last spring. The first against Trinity Academy in the semifinals, then later that same day against Silver Lake in the state championship.
It just felt like home when I first went on a visit there, and I liked everything about it. I love the coaches, I love the area, and I just felt like it was a good fit for me. They're like a family, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. They're always so encouraging, and they've just helped push me through everything I've gone through.
At the start of the high school baseball season, we often get some matchups between teams that normally wouldn't face each other from different states, and that's exactly the case yesterday afternoon over in Joplin. Colgan baseball traveling across state lines for its season opener. The Panthers faced Joplin, who's 0-3, looking for its first win. David Ben gets the start on the mound for the Eagles, and he's humming early. Top of the first, Ben gets a strikeout against the first batter he faces. Next batter goes down swinging as well. Ben keeps the Panthers scoreless in the first. This game quickly turns into a pitcher's duel. Colgan starter Brady Van Beesler gets a foul tip strikeout to end the first frame. So we go to the top of the third. We're still scoreless. Lane Stoltz puts a good swing on that one, drops down and gets away from the center fielder. But the Eagles catch him trying to stretch a single into a double, and he's out at second. Joplin bats heat up later in the innings. Eagles score 4 runs in the 6th. They take down Colgan 6-1. On Monday night, Pittsburgh State women's basketball advanced to the Final Four. At the same time, the Gorilla fans also got some exciting news for the men's team. Mason English announces late on Monday night that he is committing to Pittsburgh State. English was a first-team All-State honoree in his senior year at Pittsburgh High School in 2024. After graduating from PHS, English opted to attend Link Academy in Branson for 1 year, which is one of the top basketball prep schools in the country. He's following in his older brother's footsteps. Marquis English played for the Gorillas for 2 seasons before graduating last spring. Closing things out with a look at pro basketball. We're coming down to the stretch of the regular season in the NBA. Last night, Oklahoma City Thunder out on the West Coast taking on the Kings. Late start. This one tipped off at 9. The Oklahoma City Thunder go on to win this one. That sounds a lot better than going down. Final score of 121-105. This win gives the Thunder 60 victories on the season. Still to come, a new study reveals why it might be beneficial to slow down your eating, maybe slow down your reading at times. And we'll have another check of that weather forecast, talking about the nice weather today, warmer temperatures tomorrow, and rain chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, coming up on 517 on this Wednesday morning. Starting with the future track for today, we're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies at times. Temperatures will be a little warmer. We'll have a light easterly breeze out there, so not too bad. And we'll stay that way until we get into the evening hours. Then after midnight, clouds begin to increase. Around 4 or 5 a.m., we're looking at thunderstorm chances. So what I've done is what we talked about at the beginning of the show. We have, again, all those different computer models that go over and they show us what the expectations are, and we figure out what's going to happen. Only one showed the rain chances yesterday, so I'm running that one this morning. I have a weird feeling it might be right. So it's showing a few opportunities for a few more showers and thunderstorms starting again about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and they will continue to push through the area in the first half of our Thursday. It does have them sticking around a little longer than I think they will. I think they'll still be done by about 1, but this shows maybe a lingering shower or 2, possibly into the evening, but I think they'll be done by 1. And then take a look at these temperatures. We're looking at upper 70s and a number of low 80s across the area, so well above normal out there. As we go through the day tomorrow, winds will actually increase out of the southwest, start gusting to 30. We head into our Friday, we'll have more clouds out there again, and then some opportunities for some isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. This is our pop-up shower storm day. Not much else expected from that. And then we go into the weekend. That's something else we got to talk about as well, because there have been some additional minor changes to the weekend forecast. We're at 48 in Joplin right now. It does feel like 45. Skies are clear, and across the area, most of us into the upper 40s. We do have some low 40s, some of our southern counties, so a little cooler out there, but that's actually a little closer to normal as well. We're going to start our day into the upper 40s by 8, low 60s by 11 o'clock, and again, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Now continue into the afternoon as our highs go into the low 70s today with an east wind at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, clouds begin to increase after midnight, so partly cloudy, mostly clear through the evening, low 60s by 10. And with the cloud cover, remember we've talked about how it acts as that blanket, keeps some of that warmer air in. That will be the case this evening. We'll be falling back into the upper 50s, maybe some low 60s, so we're talking about being around 20 degrees warmer than normal overnight tonight, and we'll have a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So what about this weekend? I'm going to tell you right now, I sat down, I checked Facebook stuff, and I'm already seeing all those Facebook weather professionals professionals out there that aren't real weather professionals at all putting on major tornado outbreak. Practically the world is going to end if you're out in this zone. That is not necessarily the case. But we are still looking at those shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend. Future Track wants to keep the showers and thunderstorms a little later, still around noon on Saturday, but some data is suggesting we may not see much of anything Saturday at all. So that's other changes. This data still suggests some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms Saturday afternoon. No severe weather expected. What we have to watch is what happens after midnight Sunday. We get showers and thunderstorms that start to develop around the area. These will push off to the east and southeast. That's where the bigger severe threat is, but we're going to have to keep a close eye on them as they get started Sunday morning, because as we go into Sunday, you can see this possible line was along and east of I-49, and now it's been given a slight angle across the area, right where those storms may develop very early Sunday morning. So it's something we do want to keep a close eye on still as we head into the weekend. Again, low 80s tomorrow, 70s on Friday, low 80s again Saturday. Got those thunderstorm chances Sunday, much cooler Monday, and then temperatures return back to or slightly above normal by next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the Food and Drug Administration and Coca-Cola have issued a recall because some of the soda may be contaminated with plastic. About 10,000 cans are involved in the recall, which was initially issued by the soft drink company on March 6th. That equates to nearly 912 packs of the 12-ounce Coke cans. They were distributed in Illinois and Wisconsin. So far, no word of anyone getting ill. The FDA on Monday labeled this as a Class 2 recall, which means the risk of getting sick is remote. Are you devouring a meal in 20 minutes or less? One health expert says that's too fast and may lead to some health problems. Leslie Heinberg, a scientist at the Center for Behavioral Health at the Cleveland Clinic, says it takes 20 minutes for the stomach to tell the brain it's full. She says when a person eats quickly, they may miss the signs and overeat. Heinberg added people who eat fast may swallow more air, resulting in bloating or indigestion. She also says eating fast and not chewing food properly can decrease the amount of nutrients you receive from a meal. To slow down eating, Heinberg suggests that people should avoid watching TV or browsing on their phone. This National Sleep Month, a new survey reveals many Americans suffer from sleep apnea and aren't getting the treatment they need. Michael George has more on this common disorder.
Thomas Dewey has been snoring for 20 years. The 59-year-old tried a dental device and nose strips. A few months ago, his wife told him it was getting worse.
My wife started saying, "You're scaring me. I want to wake you up because you're struggling to breathe."
Thomas, who's recently retired and very active, also noticed he was feeling tired.
I started feeling a bit tired during the day. I'm a very active guy. I'm rehabbing my house in Florida. I have no reason to feel sleepy during the day.
A sleep test reveals he suffers from sleep apnea. New research from the National Sleep Foundation finds while nearly 90% of Americans say it's a serious condition to be treated, nearly 1/3 diagnosed are not currently being treated.
You're at increased risk for cardiovascular events, metabolic disorders, cognitive dysfunction, emotional and mental health problems.
The report estimates about 30 million Americans suspect they have sleep apnea and have not been diagnosed. And while most of the population knows CPAP is a frontline treatment option, they aren't aware of other options.
Things like lifestyle changes, diet, drinking behavior, smoking, exercise, surgical options, implantable medical devices. There are mandibular advancement devices.
Thomas is looking forward to when his CPAP machine arrives.
Waking up not tired, waking up refreshed, not feeling sleepy during the day.
He's glad he listened to his wife so everyone can start sleeping better. Michael George, CBS News.
The report also shows only 1 in 4 Americans can identify health consequences of untreated sleep apnea. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are watching another great day across the 4 states, and it's going to be a little warmer. We'll go over those details with you when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, some area science students made their way to MSSU for the annual Regional Science Fair.
And we've got another great day in the 4 states. Maybe a few clouds here and there. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, we hear from some students fired up for Pitt State's women's basketball team and their trip to the Final Four.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Melissa Alexis.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday and it is March the 26th. We are well into spring. Very not spring-like temperatures though. We've been above average here lately.
Warm weather. Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, I've talked before. I hate the cold. I know the heat can get bad. And everybody says, "Oh, you can only you can't take anything off in the heat." I'm like, well, you know what? You're right, but you're not shoveling the heat out of your driveway. It doesn't make you have to wake up early to get to work because you have to drive slow. There's a lot of things, you know, you pick your battle. I'm for the warmer weather.
I'm with you.
We have got warmer weather on the way this week. In fact, could even see the 80s. Not today, but soon. Let's start with that look outside, though, downtown Pittsburgh, because we got to get your Wednesday underway. And you guys, I've been doing the mornings now for 3 years, and you folks at home know I can tell stories for days. But we won't do that. We are looking pretty good this morning. Clear skies across the area. We'll have a few clouds possible, but outside of that, a very nice day. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. See, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like there's more people on the road this morning than there were yesterday morning. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on I'm just not aware of because I am a bit of a hermit. When I'm done here, I go home and I stay. Drives the wife crazy, but I like being home. Got a great day, though. If you're at least home, you should go out in your yard. You don't have to leave or go anywhere, but a beautiful day out there. And again, just an opportunity for a few clouds here and there. Otherwise, just a nice day. I've said that like 12 times. I haven't had all the coffee yet. 48 Joplin, 50 in Pittsburgh. Don't worry, I've got a whole cup of coffee waiting for me over there. We've got most of us into the upper 40s. Do have some low 50s. We even have now Miami as the cold spot at 39. But believe it or not, that's like 1 degree lower than the average low. So Miami, you're pretty close to normal. Same with Grove and Anderson and Stockton, Fort Scott out there. So somewhat close to average. The rest of us, though, a bit above normal. We're going to be significantly above normal tonight into tomorrow. About 47 when the kids get on the bus this morning. Again, maybe some clouds here and there. Calm winds. East breeze 5 to 10 this afternoon. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies and temps at 72 when that bus brings them home. Our highs today, low 70s, maybe even some mid-70s out there. So again, a day today that's not too bad. Now, we do have some thunderstorm chances tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about that. We'll also give you an update on what we're looking at this weekend in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Melissa?
Thanks, Chris. Missouri Southern hosts its 36th annual Regional Science Fair. The fair consisted of middle and high school students from over 16 counties between Missouri and Kansas. KOAM's Lonnie Walton took us there to get all the action.
Well, microplastics are a really big issue just in the whole world in general right now.
Ty Madison is a senior at Joplin High School. He's a science lover and joined this science fair competition to help educate people on the dangers of microplastics.
In the Joplin area, for sure, right now there's a really big issue with them because there isn't necessarily data that tells us how many microplastics are in our waterways.
He's not the only one dealing with microplastics. Middle school Ancy often says she talks about them too. And like Ty, she says they're no good.
Did pothos propagation and plastic bottles versus glass jars. Plastic bottles can contain microplastics and nanoplastics that have harmful heavy metals and chemicals in them.
And high school senior Maya Craven has her own specialty, but we'll let her tell you what that is.
What I did was I evaluated sheep wool pellets as a sustainable alternative for water conservation and drought-prone areas.
And how did she do that?
I separated 72 individual plant pots into 3 groups. One had 0% sheep wool pellets implemented into that soil. Group 2 had about 5% and Group 3 had about 10%.
Both Maya and Ty had to give 12-minute talks to judges that they hope would allow them to enter a state competition at the University of Central Missouri. Maya says she's having a blast.
I learned a lot of things that I didn't think I was going to learn.
And for Ty, although there's no cure for microplastics, bringing awareness to it is just as important to him.
Hard thing because microplastics can be this tiny thing that you can barely detect.
And Ansley says she's saving all her learning for one thing.
I want to be a vet when I'm older.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The winner of the fair received medals and cash prizes. The grand prize winner will have an opportunity to participate in an international science fair and engineering fair held in May. Diabetes awareness is the focus of a gathering at Joplin's Freeman Business Center yesterday. The Freeman's diabetes coordinator presented information about how to cook for 1 or 2 people. She also gave Freeman Advantage member tips for healthier meal planning and making good choices when grocery shopping.
So what we focus on with diabetes is on the total carbohydrates, because actually all those carbohydrates turn to glucose in the body and raise blood sugar. So we do care about sugar because it tends to add carbohydrates to our product, but we just focus on looking at total carbohydrates. If it does have a little sugar, it's okay. You can still eat it.
This presentation was in recognition of Diabetes Alert Day and National Kidney Month. Now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps, as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Pitt State has a fever right now, and the only cure is a championship from the women's basketball team. The team beat Lubbock Christian in last night's Elite 8 matchup in the NCAA tournament in Pennsylvania, and the hot streak has the student body fired up for more.
Oh, it was so good. So boom, they put on the board. They said, first win, first champion since 2016, 2019. I was like, what? Coach Amanda, she is so good. Like, she really took the program from here to everyone does such a good job. Grace Pyle, Corinna Gerber, all of the starters, Macy James runs such an amazing offense. I feel like everyone truly plays their part, and each one of them really deserves this win. Like, they were fighting for it the whole season. Such a great thing to watch. I was so happy.
It's a great win for them, for the program. They've been working really hard this year, and it's fun. It's been fun supporting them, and as a football player, we try supporting all the sports we can.
Up next for Pitt State will be a matchup against Grand Valley State in the Final Four tonight. You might have seen a Pittsburgh landmark getting a bath yesterday. Crews at Best Hotel treated the nearly 100-year-old building to a much-needed exterior cleaning. The landmark is undergoing renovation as part of the Gorilla Rising project. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Wildfires in South Korea have killed at least 18 people and destroyed more than 200 structures. Plus, Russia and Ukraine agreed to a ceasefire in the Black Sea. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, a test run at a bobsled track set to be used for next year's Winter Olympics in Italy gets a thumbs up. Several competitors tried out the rebuilt sledding track Tuesday to make sure it meets requirements for the 2026 Games. It'll be used for the bobsled, luge, and skeleton athletes competitions. The government agency in charge of the rebuilding the century-old track reported positive results. The International Olympic Committee raised concerns about the safety of the track and suggested a value in nearby Austria or Switzerland instead. Officials from the international federations and the IOC will determine if it gets certified. Wildfires burned through South Korea's southern regions, leaving destruction behind. Authorities say the wildfires, which began Friday, have killed at least 18 people and destroyed more than 200 structures. 27,000 people have been forced to evacuate the area. The Korea Forest Service raised the wildfire warnings to the highest serious level on Tuesday, forcing local government to deploy more help. South Korean President Han Duck-soo says 4,650 firefighters, soldiers, and other personnel are working on extinguishing the wildfires. Authorities believe many of the fires were started because of human error. Delegations from Russia and Ukraine agreed to a ceasefire in the Black Sea following talks with Trump administration officials in Saudi Arabia. There is skepticism, however, the scope of the deal and if it will hold. Alex Hogan has the latest from London.
Agreed terms to a maritime truce. Both Russia and Ukraine greenlighting a plan to pause the fighting in the Black Sea, the critical defensive body of water on which both countries also rely for exports. It's the first significant step toward a full ceasefire amid U.S. President Donald Trump's pledge to swiftly end the war. The deal also includes a ban on targeting energy infrastructure for 30 days, a promise Russia says it will only trust with Washington's backing.
We will need clear guarantees. The guarantees can only be the result of an order from Washington to Zelensky and to his team to do one thing and not the other.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he believes the peace plan goes into effect immediately, although he expressed doubt that Moscow will hold up its end of the bargain.
If the Russians violate this, then I have a direct question for President Trump. If they violate, and here is the evidence, we ask for sanctions, we ask for weapons, and so on.
U.S. and Ukrainian delegates met in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, following talks between the U.S. and Russia. In separate agreements, the U.S. will help both countries on different fronts. The U.S. and Ukraine agreed to continue to work toward the exchange of prisoners of war, the release of civilian detainees, and the return of forcibly transferred Ukrainian children. The Trump administration has also agreed to help Russia increase its global exports of grain and fertilizer. Not all details are finalized. The Kremlin warns first sanctions must be lifted, and it won't give up control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
There are about 5 or 6 conditions. We're looking at all of them.
Despite days of diplomatic efforts in the Middle East, in Eastern Europe, the fighting rages on. Both countries accuse the other of continued attacks.
The White House says this is the first step at securing lasting peace, and the U.S. will continue to facilitate conversations between both sides moving forward.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:45 now on this Wednesday morning. We're going to start with the future track for today. So we're looking at mostly clear and occasionally partly cloudy skies out there. We'll have a light easterly breeze, another very nice day for us. And then we'll see some thunderstorm chances. And I want to talk about these storm chances because this is what I'm doing. Yesterday, there was only one piece of computer data that said it would rain or we could get at least some showers. And that's what? That one was right. So for tomorrow morning, we're going to run that one that got it right yesterday, and we'll see if it pans out to be correct tomorrow morning. So about 24 hours from now, we'll be looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. So this is the computer model that yesterday showed those rain showers that streaked across the area. Not all of it reached the ground, but we did see some, and they showed up, and it was right. So this one may be right again. But we're looking at the opportunity, again, about a little less than 24 hours from now, for some scattered showers and thunderstorms starting early tomorrow morning. Nothing severe is expected, but we could have a rainy start to the day, and then by about noon or 1 o'clock, they should be out of here. I know it's keeping them here a little later. I think they'll be gone by 1, but we'll see exactly how that pans out. The other thing we're going to deal with tomorrow is the winds increase. We'll have gusty southwest winds pushing about 30 miles an hour, and look at these temperatures. We should be in the 60s. We're looking at low 80s across most of the area as we head into Thursday. Now we go into Friday. Temperatures cool back a little bit. Still a very mild start to the day, upper 50s, low 60s, and we should be in the 40s to start our days right now this time of year, so 20 degrees above normal. In fact, it'll be the same tonight, by the way, thanks to the cloud cover. We go into Friday, some isolated pop-up showers, maybe a thunderstorm will be possible. Most of us will be dry, but we'll at least have that chance, and our temperatures, even though we start very mild, will not be nearly as warm as what we're expecting tomorrow. The upper 40s by 8 o'clock this morning, low 60s by 11, and again a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Heading into the afternoon, similar situation, some partly cloudy skies. Temperatures low 70s and an east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the overnight we go. This is what we are looking at, mild. Low 60s by 10, mostly cloudy after midnight. Clouds begin to increase after midnight, falling back into the upper 50s and low 60s. Again, it's about 20 degrees above normal. And on top of that, helping us stay warm, south winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, of course, on social media, those social media weather people who aren't real weather people are, blasting around that there's going to be, the devastation on an unparalleled scale as we head into the weekend, and that's not necessarily going to be the case, but we are watching that potential for some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms as we head into the weekend. Now, I will say this. A lot of data is starting to suggest, because the severe threat was taken away from our area on Saturday, and now some data suggesting we won't really see anything on Saturday. This future track model, though, is still suggesting by Saturday afternoon some scattered showers and thunderstorms. If that does come to be, we're still not anticipating any severe weather with that. Where our concern lies is with a cold front, a very classic severe weather setup. You have the low pressure, the cold front, the warm front. It'll start to push through the area late Saturday into early Sunday. So we're talking the possibility of overnight storms, say as early as 2-3 o'clock in the morning, developing along that frontal boundary very early Sunday morning. If they develop in our area, they could intensify and become strong to severe rather quickly, but they'll also exit our area very quickly, leaving us with some scattered showers and storms behind that. So again, no severe threat on Saturday, but for Sunday, yesterday it had been moved right along and east of the I-49 corridor. It's been changed just a bit, backed up a little to the west in some locations, and that is again in alignment with that cold front and the possibility of those very early morning storms developing on Sunday. So we still need to watch Sunday very closely. Going to be very warm Saturday, going back into the low 80s, some upper 70s out there. Much cooler Monday once this system passes through, and Sunday night, but then we'll start turning around and warming back up next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more after this.
In Los Angeles, authorities faced with a fire hazard that couldn't be solved with water. They decided to fight fire with fire. Jeremy Roth has today's look at Take a Look at This.
This is the moment a house in LA blew up after officials purposefully set it ablaze, saying it contained highly volatile chemicals too dangerous to move. It started days earlier when the house, which officials say contained chemicals believed to be used to make fireworks, exploded, injuring one person and trapping at least one dog that was reportedly later rescued. According to an ATF official, the chemicals detected inside were too volatile to douse with water or attempt to move.
This house is essentially a bomb.
So after issuing an evacuation to surrounding homes, a controlled burn was executed, and it didn't take long before the structure exploded again, sending glittering fireworks flying in all directions. Another controlled chaos scenario, this one in Utah, where the official response to a natural avalanche was to set off another unnatural one. Engineers did just that, triggering an intense snowy slide that kicked up a powdery plume in the Cottonwoods Canyon area, all to try and prevent damage should just such a thing happen again. Just trust me, it all makes sense. Finally, nobody planned for it, nobody could control it, but it appears no one was injured when a lightning bolt suddenly blasted a Nashville home's front yard tree. So now we all get to marvel at it. The sudden strike sent splinters and shards flying in the surveillance video, which is impressive, but unfortunately has no sound. So please, allow me. Thank you very much. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Stick around, we'll be right back. A lasting structure comes to life as a tribute to all in our military who gave a lasting legacy of the highest honor of service. The National Medal of Honor Museum opens in Arlington, Texas on Tuesday. The museum pays tribute to more than 3,500 recipients of the Medal of Honor, which is its nation's highest military honor. The award is given for risking one's life in combat beyond the call of duty. It tells stories across branches of service, conflicts, locations, as well as ethnicities and races. While regular Americans would think this is extraordinary, to medal recipients, they say they're just ordinary people who summoned courage and sacrifice. One psychologist is weighing in on whether or not kids should have chores. Dr. Kate Eshelman with the Cleveland Clinic says that chores for kids can offer many benefits. Eshelman says the practice of chores teaches kids responsibility and time management. While expectations for children's chores should be set, Eshelman says that parents should be flexible and understanding, as a child's homework and education should always come first. Eshelman also says it's important for parents to model good behavior by performing their own chores.
That was always a problem for me. I did not have any chores when I was a kid, and therefore I became very lazy, unfortunately. Now I've grown up. I take care of stuff at the house now, But, you know, it is important to have some kind of activity and some kind of responsibility. That way you're able to take responsibility a little later in life. All right, today, starting into the upper 40s, making the low 60s by 11, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies out there today. Highs into the low 70s. We'll have that east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into tonight, very mild, low 60s by 10. Clouds increasing after midnight. Temperatures about 20 degrees above normal tonight as we go into the upper 50s and low 60s. Winds start gusting out of the southwest tomorrow at about 30. A few morning showers and thunderstorms between, say, 4 a.m. and 1 p.m. Much warmer, low 80s. Possibly an isolated pop-up shower storm Friday, and we're watching those thunderstorm chances Sunday morning as well. We'll have another look at your forecast and a whole other hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.